Too many leaders lead for validation, not impact, for what they can get out of it more than what they can give to it. Hi, my name is Chris, and I'm obsessed with how leaders grow and develop, and I too have insecure moments. We all do. Glad you're here with me now on the Sight Shift podcast so you can learn how to lead for impact, not validation. Welcome to session 10 of this journey. Leadership is easy, except for the people. Well, the problem that I had to be transformed through was that there is no war there. It's not between the vision and the people. The vision is the people. And so we've gone on this 10-part journey, and you didn't have to hear the other 9 to get value out of today. This 10-part journey of what it means to be the kind of leaders who make peace with this idea and are transformed by it. And we are actively committed to 3 shifts. A horizon shift of who we and they can become, a head shift, systems to get us there to build leaders who build leaders, and a heart shift, the renewing of relationships that continually happens. So as we bring all this together, what does this look like when it happens? What does it feel like? What does it taste like? Because if your imagination hasn't been in some way inspired, if there's not a stirring up of something that could be and should be true about the leadership function and experience of what it means to have a mission you're pursuing with others, then you're not going to be compelled to take the journey. You're not going to be compelled to do the hard work, to pay the price, to get better instead of just getting angry, to continually learn how to create margin in your life so that you can provide care for people, and that you're doing it all not to be a leader of validation who leads for your own validation, but you lead for impact. You're not giving to get, you're giving to serve. You're maybe a servant leader. We could say it that way. The picture I want to paint for you is of a leader. What this looks like as we bring this all together is a person who knows who they are, who knows where they are, and what they are to do is truly the kind of leader that we can all become. When I paint this picture for you, it's going to sound in some ways unreachable. But what I want to tell you is the proof that it's possible is that you even feel a moment of insecurity when you hear it. Because the insecurity that is there when you hear it is the very proof to you that if you can have the negation, the insecurity, why can't you have the flip of it, the positive of it? So for me, when we're thinking about what it looks like to have the kinds of leaders who are developing leaders that are secure in their identity, that know who they are, that are leading for impact, not validation, we're looking for 3 defining marks. When they are disoriented, they know how to reorient. When they are disoriented, they know how to reorient. Every leader that leads for any amount of time will face moments when they are disoriented. It could be a small disorientation. This isn't going like I thought. It could be a big one. It could be a multi-stage, multi-year kind of crisis, a wilderness experience where they are in the limbo, the in-between. Nothing feels right side up. But the kind of leader that you can become, the kind of leaders that you can build leaders who build other leaders to be, are the kind of leaders who know how to not fight and rage against the disorientation, but welcome it, accept it, and reorient. They move from disorientation to reorientation. What happens now in society is because we don't actually have generations who want to build their identity around their work, like we saw with boomers and Gen X. The other generations now do not want to build their identity around work. They're looking for something else false to build their identity around. For boomers and Gen Xers, it was false, and the end result of that isn't healthy. But in the absence of that now, the other generations are looking for a way to anchor an identity into something, and what they're anchoring it into, paradoxically and weirdly to us because we're not going through it, but it's actually normal, is a disorientation. What's really wild to me is younger generations are building an identity around a disorientation, something undefinable, something that is very, topsy-turvy in a world that they feel isn't certain anyway. And so what you'll have a lot of older generations do is bemoaning how negative this is. No, it's just the yin to the yang. It's a swinging of a spectrum. And just as Gen Xers and boomers need to know they don't build their identity around work, every other generation needs to know You don't have to build your identity around the most invalidated part of who you are. The part of you that's most victimized isn't big enough to hold up a whole identity. And that secure leaders learn how to move from disorientation, whether they're building their work around their identity or around a victimized part of who they are, to reorientation. An identity that is secure, whether work is going good or bad, whether they fully can process or know everything about their gender, race, creed, or sexuality, all of these things that are at work. This is the massive stuff. And leaders know that how to shift and lock in from a disorientation to a reorientation. That is a mark of a leader who has run this journey, who is running this journey continually well, of a horizon shift, head shift, and heart shift. The second mark of a healthy leader, the kind of leader who builds other leaders, is they can shift from confusion to certainty, from confusion to certainty. You could also say from confusion to confidence. It is normal that you're going to go through circumstances and experiences that cause you to feel a lack of confidence, that cause you to feel uncertain, that cause you to feel confused. Rather than thinking you're doing something wrong, beating up on yourself, or trying to say it's their fault, it's the team's fault, it's the organization's fault, and maybe they are giving you improper or inappropriate leadership in some way. That's still an opportunity for you to grow. I'm going to move to the certainty of what? I have no confidence or guarantee of outcomes on any given day. I will never have that, but I can move to certainty of action. I'm going to go here. I'm going to do this. I'm going to try this. I'm going to send this email. I'm going to make this call. I'm going to take this step. And leaders that know how to move from disorientation to reorientation, that know how to move from confusion to certainty, have a third mark that shows up in their relationships. They move from someone who hurts to someone who heals. Now, I don't perfectly do this. You'll never perfectly do this. But I'm not just trying to remove the ways that I would hurt others as a leader to get to some kind of neutral stance. I'm trying to become the kind of leader who heals. Not for my validation, not because I need to be the center of attention, not because I have to get all of my meaning from how you feel about my leadership. I'm just trying to create an atmosphere, an environment, a culture whereby you being a part of this with us, it's going to grow you up and make you better. Now, you may not be ready to join us where you currently are because you've got to get to a certain level of health. It doesn't mean you have to lower the standards of your organization, but it does mean this. I am going to create a context wherever, if it's right for you to join us, wherever you find yourself, you're going to take this journey with us and you're going to be better for it. So I'm going to be careful. I'm going to be aware. I'm not going to be bombastic and gregarious and full of hype in such a way that I'm like a bull in a china shop with my words, nor will I shrink away from challenging, from asking questions, from exploring, from wondering, from being curious. And when these three marks are in your life as a leader, you don't go to bed and go, well, I got them and I'm good. We come back to them every day. And the way that we keep coming back to them is we ask ourselves, do we have a horizon in place? Are we shifting towards it? Are we upgrading our systems with a head shift? And are we renewing our relationships with a heart shift? Hey, thanks for being on this journey with me in this series. It's not true that leadership would be easy except for the people. The people are the juice and meaning of it all. It's where all the transformation occurs. More at SightShift, SIGHT shift.com. Thanks for joining me on this episode. There's always more for you at SightShift, SIGHT shift.com to be the leader you were meant to be.